Hello and welcome to this railway domain session as part of your buildingSMART International Summit, sunny Marrakesh 2024. Thank you for joining us today. My name is John Proctor and I am your moderator. Details of today's session are on the screen. We will be hearing from CR-BIM colleagues on the high reliability interoperability railway station project. The session is scheduled to last for 90 minutes and we can take questions at the end. The session is being recorded and will be made available in the replay section of the event as soon as possible. Before I hand over to the speakers, Daxiang and Langtang, I'd like to remind you that this is a hybrid event. If you're online, your microphones will remain muted for the duration. If you wish to make a comment or ask a question, please use the comments box in the control panel and I will prompt you to do so. For everyone in the room, welcome. Please keep background noise to a minimum. And if you wish to make a comment or ask a question, please raise your hand and we have microphones available. I'm also bringing to your attention the information that is on the screen now. buildingSMART is committed to ensuring that participation in the development of standards is unrestricted and the process for their adoption is transparent, and standards that are developed do not favour any particular provider, but are open, non-binding and accessible to all. Please take note of our antitrust code of conduct. With that, I'm going to pass to Daxiang.
Okay, thank you. So, I'm this. So welcome everybody. And today I'm the Daxiang Li from CR-BIM, and we will propose the new project of BIM standards with railway station. In the last year, when we stay in the Norway in Lillestrøm Summit, we proposed this idea, and we were thinking about how to improve the IFC standards, some other domain from the railway, and then we choose the one Unicode domain. That's the station, and after about 1 year, after 1 year's work, and now today we are here and we will hold the kickoff meeting for this project. So in here, I'm really appreciate all the members from the Railway Steering Committee, because they gave us so many feedbacks that make us to get a better and better proposal, the project plan, and so that we can get this project now. And really thanks for everyone, and thanks for and really thanks to Kelly, to Yosheng, but maybe they are not here. Okay, so next I will pass the microphone to Liang Tong, my colleagues, who will be responsible for the presentation of the kickoff meeting. So, Liang Tong.
Okay, so good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the kickoff session of the high reliable interoperability for railway stations kickoff session. I am today's presenter, and my name is Liang Tong Lu. I am a structural engineer at China Railway Shanghai Design Institute, as well as a BIM engineer at CR-BIM Shanghai. Today we have lots of members online, and we also have Ms. Sheng, our co-chairman for CR-BIM, sitting here. So this time we bring almost all the very top China's railway companies to the summit. All of you are very welcome to come to us after the meeting. So we put forward the station idea at summit, and after months of discussion and brainstorms, what you can expect is not only the update, but also some more details and next steps. Okay, so since 2023, Sierra Beam started to prepare for the station to the last summit. We introduced the project and joined the monthly RDSC meetings. We are continuously making progress month by month. Okay. And here are some milestones. 2023, Sierra Beam Shanghai was established in response to national and regional development strategies to achieve the overall planning of digital China and to promote the integrated development of the Yangtze River Delta region. Well, the initial plan is to formulate the IFC standard for railway stations, to build a railway beam collaborative platform, and to empower the digitalization of the railway industry in all aspects. Next, please. Okay, in March 2024, we made a proposal on the IFC 4.3 for railway stations at the Spring Summit in Spain. And the presentation demonstrated the necessity of drafting the IFC station standard through discussions on the evolution of railway stations, the challenges we are facing, the practice of open beam, and the unique components and attributes. And we received lots of suggestions, including to utilize the user-defined nature of the BSDD. Next, please. So after returning from the summit, we had a BSI technical director, Leon, and the international project coordinator, Yousheng. So we also discussed it with Guangdong Airport Authority, but due to the non-modularity of the current IFC standard and the delay in software deployment, so there is significant and uncertainty in continuing the development of IFC. So we shifted the project to focus on building smart data dictionary. Next, please. Okay. Well, following the technical seminar, we drafted a proposal for the station data dictionary. And from April to August, it was discussed for multiple times on the railroad domain steering committee meetings. And finally, in August, the project was recognized within the domain. And in September, we have the survey reviewed. And now the survey is ready to hand out. Something interesting is BSI domain projects are under some transition. And this project is highly recognized by BSI leaders and will be an example domain project in the future. For now, we are under the procedure of sharing and setting up, and this project will be another domain after the IFC project. So please don't hesitate to join us. Today we are here to hold a kickoff session and distribute the railway station data exchange industry demand survey, call for participants from international communities to jointly formulate a detailed plan. After the project is initiated, it is expected to be completed within 2 years. After the survey being released, we will collect feedback, write the analysis report, and create the solution for the interoperability problem. For now, which in this case is the railway station data dictionary, and I will explain it later. Then rely on real projects to verify and continuously improve the data dictionary. And the ultimate goal is to promote industry application and foster international consensus. So before introducing the project, I'd like to explain how we shift from IFC to BSDD. Within BSI, there are many products and services, and besides what's listed on the screen, there are also like IDM and BCF, etc. And for most of you, IFC is an old friend because in the past 5 years, we jointly developed the IFC 4.3 railway domain, and basically about these 4 fields of energy, signaling, track, and telecom. For BSDD, it has a very similar structure with IFC. Both of them have contents like classes, properties, allowed values, and relationships. And of course, both of them belong to BSI and are committed to improving the standardization and interoperability of data in building industry. Okay, here's the differences. IFC is about schemas with only common information written in software, while BSDD is an online service with possibilities to contain finer information granularity accessing from APIs. And also BSDD is easier for maintenance and update and open to more user groups. So with all that being said, proposed solution is to perform a railway station data dictionary. When IFC cannot satisfy the industry need, the user can manually match the information through BSDD. Well, this is just like what the airport domain is doing right now. Well, in this review, the user is manually match a wall through BSDD to have some properties. Because both of the input and output documents are in the IFC file, so there will not be any information lost through the data exchange. Okay, next, please. Yeah. And for those of you who are not familiar with the project, we have a short introduction. So at the important connection of railway industry, railway stations crucial to regional economic growth and urban competitiveness. And with the expansion of railway network and the frequent cross-domain or cross-regional cooperation, the industry need a common language to satisfy the information granularity of railway station projects to improve the efficiency and quality and promote sustainable development. The market prospect is huge. This picture shows in China, by 2023, the mileage of high-speed rail has reached 45,000 kilometers. 1,944 railway stations has, and more than 50 high-speed railway stations are under construction or planning, and a large number already built stations will be upgraded. And by 2035, the railway network should reach over 200,000 kilometers. And with the improvement of the open beam application of the industry, the informatization demand of railway station projects will also increase dramatically. So the project has set two goals. The first one is the outcome objectives, which focuses on promoting zero deepening and improvement to increase interoperability for station information and promote computational data auto-processing. And the output objective concentrates on practical results and application, aiming to create the best possible solution for railway station data standardization in terms of work data exchange and optimization. Next. And next. Okay, that's it. So just focus on global railway station projects using the BSI products and services, and may collaborate with the airport domain in comprehensive transportation hubs. Next, please. So before arriving in Morocco, my colleague rough 2-year plan with budgets of 400,000 euros. It is not to say that we have determined that we are going to do these things in this way. It's just to give a picture of how this project will be going on. And the final schedule and budget need to be determined with all participant domain as well. So based on this draft plan, if we can have 4 participants, the annual cost for each participant will be like 50,000 euros. And if we can have more, the cost is likely to be lower. Phase 1 is to get the project approved. And we are almost done for this part because we're waiting for some paperwork after the domain project application procedure being released by BSI. Phase 2 is to do the demand analysis. We will start from the industry demand theory. After collecting feedbacks, we will form an analysis report and set down the work plan and budget will with all participants based on the analysis report. Phase 3 and 4 are the big chunks. They are about to form and validate the railway station data dictionary. The process refers to the previous process of doing IFC. Well, defining use cases, fill in the contact, organize in computer language, and release the first version of the dictionary. After releasing the dictionary, we will need to validate using real railway station projects. For example, we can test the information completeness and matching ratio by applying the data dictionary for exchange between multiple softwares and platforms. And then we need to test and modify until it meets all engineering requirements. So in this phase, we will also form technical documents and reports, for example, the IDS. Phase 5 is a continuous model. It's about project management and global promotion. Working business. In addition to the familiarity for formulating IFC, we also have the data exchange industry demand survey ready to release. And to better estimate the workload, my colleagues has roughly organized the list of railway station classes, properties, and did the matching work with IFC. As you can see, it's easy work. Railway stations can have many professionals within one domain, one project. And after the survey and analysis report, we will have a more certain view of which to be included. And also one comment for this page, there are many majors roughly listed in the roughly list. So if you are familiar with one or more of the majors, you're welcome to come to us and we can discuss more about the cooperation. Here, the purpose is to better understand the application situation of IFC and BSDD in railway station projects. To see if there are any demands of enriching the data exchange standard for this type of projects. So please hand out and take the survey after the summit. We really appreciate. In the lower part, you can see a QR code as well as a UML. So thank you for BSI for forming the online survey. So if you can take a picture of the QR code and hand out to your colleagues, we really appreciate.
Shall we leave it on the screen just for a moment for people to?
We also have a bigger one in the last page. So
is there a bigger one coming?
Yeah, it's coming. Okay, thank you. That's what we have for now. Okay, here it is. So I know for some of your colleagues who may not be very familiar with IFC or BSDD, and there are many questions within the survey about those two things. So if they're not familiar, don't worry about that. Please just scrolling down to the various section about the participation willingness. So please make sure to fill in that part. It is very important for us to process with this project. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact Dasha.
Yes.
Thank you, Lan Tang. Thank you,
Okay,
Dashan.
that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any questions from anybody in the room? Yeah.
Just a question for this survey. We can share this one to everybody in our industry, all clients, constructors, designers, all the industry participants, yes?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
No problem. And we really appreciate if you can do that, because this survey is not only for like designers, but also for the overall life cycle in the railway station project. So we appreciate. Please do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
So if we have any further questions in the room or online, please raise your hand or ask the question online. While people are considering that, I might ask a question myself. You said you're very keen to get the project up and running, and you've got an outline plan and budgets, which is great. Do you intend to start the project this year, or what are your timescales for the start, essentially?
Well, our plan is to get the kickoff session for today, and we really wish to get the feedback of the survey within 1 month after the summit. And yeah, I guess we will start the project after getting the feedback of the survey. Now it's time to like introduce to you about this project, and we want to call for participants at this summit.
Okay, excellent. So this, as you said, the survey and indeed your presentation today is to encourage other parties to come forwards and take part in the project.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And you showed how you're going to use BSDD to capture the information about the railway stations. I was wondering, have you been in contact with Arthur Thomas, the BSDD product, or anybody else in BSI about how to go about doing that, or is that a later stage?
Okay. So yeah, of course, we have been preparing for this project for over maybe 1.5 years, and we have multiple times of discussion with both the BSI technical teams. We had a seminar with Leon, and Yosheng is continuously helping us for the technical problems. So yes, we have talked with BSI technical teams, and I guess we will continue doing this in the process with along with the project.
Yeah, good. Okay. No, you're talking to the right people. If you're talking to Leon and Yusheng, they work closely with Arthur. He's in the same team.
Yeah, they're really great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we also really appreciate about the help from the Leon and the Yusheng. Yeah,
Great. Thank you.
and Kelly, sorry.
Yeah.
And also, we want to say thank you to all the Railway Domain Steering Committee members. So thank you for providing feedbacks and suggestions in monthly meetings, and thank you for reviewing our documents in the box. So we appreciate your suggestions, and I hope this plan can satisfy your requirements.
So okay.
Two questions. Stefan Reiser, Swiss Federal Railways. So the first question would be, have I understood correctly that this project is not only aimed towards the stakeholders of the railway domain, but to stakeholders from other domains as well, since they are part of the fields that you showed in stations, for example, electricity, let's say building, let's say parts of entities of airports. Is that something that you want to open up towards other stakeholders, or do you want to keep that in the railway domain?
I would say we want to remain it as a railway domain project, but we are also open for other domains to come for like consultant. Yeah, you are right, because railway stations are not only a station, it's also a building. But for us, we want to focus more on the railway domain, and other domain members are welcome to come to show their feedbacks, suggestions, and things like that.
Okay.
So I will add comment. Actually, we are preparing for the some integration of the public infrastructure with station, with airports, with the other city transportation. So yeah, we will open for the other domain for the BSD project, but maybe not for now, because now we are focused on the railway station. And if some companies, some other people from are interested in the railway station, also the building, also the yard, also the track, and we are very welcome. Okay.
Thank you. And thank you for the explanation, and thank you for the presentation as well. My second question is not directed towards you, but more towards BSI. If I understood Richard Kelly this morning correctly, IFC Tunnel will be the last project which is initiated by stakeholders, and all the other projects will be strategic projects. So how is this project going to align with the BSI processes of strategic projects?
Okay, thanks. Good question. I can answer that on behalf of Richard. Going forwards, we will have both domain projects and strategic projects. Arguably, we've already in the past had such projects. It's just that we label them in that way. Domain projects have got a very specific set of requirements that come from the stakeholders of those projects, like the railway domain stakeholders, including yourselves and CRBIM. The difference between domain, what makes something a domain project, what makes it a strategic project, is actually the output from the project. So in this project, we're following the new domain project process, and the requirements are being captured or have been captured, the plans are being drawn up, the participants are being agreed. When we come to the deliverables from the project, as our colleagues have already shown us, it's expected that the property sets and entities and other data that's created from the project relating to railway stations will be hosted in BSDD. So we're encouraging, and indeed Richard has rewritten the BSI process to make it clear that domain projects largely will create new entities, which will then be hosted in BSDD. The dictionary or many dictionaries that are in BSDD complement and are easy to use with IFC and anybody who's running software using IFC, Revit, and other software. So it's a really good, really quick way to get the work that a domain does on a domain project out there to all of the users in the community, and that's why we've put it in place. And it means that you don't have to wait for a formal update of the IFC. So IFC 4.3 has just been approved this year by ISO. The projects that led to the creation of the infrastructure updates in IFC 4.3 started over 5 years ago. The project itself, or the projects, delivered roughly 2.5 years ago, and the ISO process has taken over 2 years. So if we were waiting each time for that to take place, we'll be waiting years before we can use railway station and entities, tunnel properties and entities. So this is somewhat pragmatic, if this change from BSI in the way that project outputs will be handled. But as I said, the vast majority of domain projects will now have outputs that will go into BSDD and be available very quickly through hosting of them in BSDD. Some project outputs do require changes to the IFC schema, and that will be the case. They will go to BSI Technical Services, so to Leon van Berlo and his team, and they will schedule them into the updates that are happening to the IFC schema. So the next one is expected to be IFC 4.4, and then beyond that IFC 5. But the timescales and the plan and the funding for those updates is not yet agreed.
Thank you for the explanation. Just a follow-up question on that. So for example, if we are going to start with this project and we will find entities that are not there from other disciplines or domains in the BSCD, and we want to have them created,
Yeah.
then it becomes a strategic project without, or it's just I think it's a bit unclear at this very moment how it's going to evolve. Maybe that's a progress that we all have to do, but
no, I see your point. I mean, this seems to me, the stations project, as I've heard it described today and previously, looks to fit very well the new definition of a domain project, and it will work, I think, very well as the project team and the community in general for it to be developed through use of BSDD and other tools and services. We'll probably create IDSs and other documentation, BCFs perhaps, whatever. But it won't become a strategic project. What the project may do is it may find some missing entities, or it may recommend that some new entities are set up in IFC. And if that's the case, there's a mechanism for making those requests. We'd like to have these entities set up because we think they're missing, or the IFC should have them. And that exists today. It's actually through GitHub, through the technical forums that are in GitHub. Technical platform that is GitHub, and that will be available and is already available to all project requests and recommendations. In practice, what that means is it goes into that longer process for an update to the IFC schema, and building domain, tunnel project now, marriage domain, other projects and domains have already made requests for updates that will be in IFC 4.4 or a later release. and that how they're going to be processed and in which release and in which ways, that's the thing that's a strategic project. It's going to be done by the technical services team, but with the input from the domain projects and the domains themselves. The requirements being set by the domains themselves.
Okay, thanks for the clarification. It's still a bit unclear to me, to be honest, if we found, like, for example, a couple of dozen entities that we need to have as not as an amendment of IFC, but as an extension of IFC to close this project, which I think is really important to have that, a common schema to define stations. We cannot close this project before the next IFC version is closed. Therefore, there is no...
I guess Tunnel's in that position at the moment. They've identified a number of new tunnel-related IFC entities that need, in their view, need to be added. Because of the way the IFC schema is updated, and it has to go through an ISO process and be approved, it's a lengthy process. And as I'm sure you know, software vendors and others are somewhat reluctant to use the schema other than the official, authorized version of the schema. So in GitHub, there are many updated versions of the schema, but none of them are the official IFC schema. The one that we currently at is IFC 4.3 Addendum 2, as approved by ISO. So my distinction is really about how do we update that one official version of the IFC schema and make sure that we don't, confuse the industry and have many different versions of it. So that's going to be, that always has been heavily managed, heavily controlled and managed by necessity. And it still will be, and the updates will be called a strategic project. But it doesn't mean that in the short term, we can't use newly created property sets and host them in BSDD. The issue might be, it's okay putting them into BSDD.
We need software implementation.
But if you haven't got software that's implemented,
that's crucial.
How can
as
you
a
use
client
them?
and as a public stakeholder, it is crucial that what we create is implemented into software.
Yeah, I agree, and that's entirely the intention. In the meantime, till the software has been implemented in that way and the scheme has been formally updated, a domain project and the output of a domain project being hosted in BSD is a way for at least that information being available to the community and for it to be reviewed and for feedback to be given and perhaps improvements and updates made even before the actual formal IFC schema is updated.
Okay, thank you. I don't want to keep the microphone for too long.
Yeah.
So okay, that way. But thank you for the
So-
clarification of the discussion. And thank you again for the presentation.
You're welcome. And also, I want to add one comment to Stefan's concerns. You're asking about maybe we may find like missing elements when doing the BSDD, and are we like possible to add that to the IFC standards? And for us, because we have already organized some elements in the properties, and the answer is yes, we did find some missing properties, and most of them are about like technical attributes which are not in the IFC. And we've been striving to touching the IFC in the past years, but it seems to be like some obstacle with like both the BSI procedures and their new like policies about domain projects and strategic projects. So yeah, I think we will be appreciated if the BSI can have a more clear timeline about like about the your transition of the both these strategic projects and the domain projects.
Yeah, no, understand. I think we'd all like to be clearer and have a clearer timeline. I'll take that away to Leon and Richard Kelly. Yeah, so I do think the new way of working, which is being implemented now, and some projects, including this one, have been set up as a domain project rather than a strategic project, will work well. Because, as I said, the aim will actually be to have the outputs from domain projects more easily and quickly available to the community. I know ultimately we all want to update the IFC schema so that it's all in the one truth that is the IFC schema, if I can call it that. By its very nature, that is a time. It takes time to do that. So this is not about it's not about changing the way that BSI work. It's very much about practicalities, in my view, which will and having new systems and services like BSDD, which has been wholly updated in the last 18 months or so, and making them available to industry, so we can actually do things quicker and actually make the updates that are required available to the community quicker. Ultimately, it has to be in the software and it has to be usable, and that I think, at the moment, the only route to that is to still update the formal IFC schema, just because there's a reluctance to update software until it's a formally approved schema that they're going to implement. Yeah. At the moment, 4.3 is just being implemented in software, isn't it, really? And if we're honest, there's actually every day there's more and more software that's implementing aspects of the IFC 4.3 schema, but there's more software available at the moment that hasn't got IFC 4.3 in it. So the updating of the software in that world itself takes time, on top of the time to formally approve the updates to the IFC schema that we've been talking about. So everyone's still committed to do that. There absolutely will be, and always has been, future updates to the IFC schema. It's just, I think the use of BSDD and other ways to make the output from a domain project more quickly available will be a good thing for our industry.
Yeah, thank you. So, and we are really looking forward to see the result of BSI's work, because we understand BSDD is maybe a quicker way for the industry to take use of the standards, but ultimately, we still think there's the demand to touch the IFC.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
So any comments or questions? Okay.
Just a quick. It's working. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Just a quick question to BSI, I suppose, or to whomever is willing to answer the question. How could we benefit from the domains generally? Because, for instance, we have a tunnel domain kind of in our classification system, but then we also have a tunnel domain in IFC. So what we're trying to figure out is what benefits could this bring to us, and any recommendations that anybody has in terms of helping us leveraging these domains.
So how could railway domain benefit from the IFC tunnel project work? Is that the question?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So two ways I can think of. One is, I mean, that project has just delivered its final deliverables, and there was the previous presentation to this one was from the IFC tunnel project within the infrastructure domain. They are, Michelle Reeves and his team are still available, and you can reach out to them now if you want to understand in more detail what it is that they've developed and how it can be used. And nearly all that information is currently residing in GitHub, and a lot of it, as you would expect, is quite technical in nature. But there's a lot of really good new information on tunnels and geometry for tunnels and how to model tunnels and property sets for tunnels in GitHub. So that's one way. The intention with a large part of that project's output is initially to also host it in BSDD. So exactly what we've been talking about here for railway station project is already happening for the tunnel project. And they're in exactly the same position as I can tell you guys are, because they have a number of recommendations for updates to the IFC schema, and they are being put forwards and being CTE at the moment, and almost certainly will form parts of future IFC updates. IFC 4.4 is the one that everyone talks about for tunnel, but IFC 5 and whatever numbers we use in the future. So very soon now. So the information, the deliverables from the tunnel project are there and in GitHub. And if you speak to Michelle Reeves, Andre Borman, Sergei Muhik, they can tell you, what's available, which reports you should read first, and which technical information you might be interested in. And it will be it's very likely to be hosted in BSD again or in the near future, so that it's more easily accessible to all of us once it's in BSD. You don't have to have a GitHub account and understand how to use GitHub to actually use it if it's in BSDD. Does that help?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good. Any further questions or comments before we close today's session? I can see we have. That's good.
Quick question. Having looked back at your work basis slide with a lot of disciplines listed, I was wondering, what's your angle? Do you intend to focus on spatial decomposition or system-to-system interfaces, which open the doors to system engineering, by the way? Or do you intend to focus on functional breakdowns or risk analysis? Do you have such ideas already? Did you investigate which angle you would take to model these entities?
Yes, good question. Yeah, that's the page. So we came up with all these measures based on the functions, because there are many professional stations. So we hope to have people in those majors to come to fill in the part of their majors and then combine them all together to form the railway station data dictionaries. So it's based on the function.
Right, because the title of the project being focusing on high availability, it clearly points towards risk analysis and functional decompositions rather than enhancing the spatial decompositions for traction substations, for example.
So are you asking like how this thing can help increase the interoperability?
Now I was wondering if you already decided what you wanted to focus on to model these entities, their shape, their role, their connectivity to other systems, their criticality, all this to lead to higher availability for the station.
Sorry about that.
Sure.
So Franz Josef from ÖBB. I guess I'm not sure if I understand your question, but this spatial decomposition of since this is just a BSDD, let's say add-on to the schema, just like John said, there cannot be a big change in the spatial structure of the model. So
right.
So it's just about standardizing, as far as we discussed in the last steering committee meetings, is about to standardize elements which are maybe there already in the schema with certain properties, and those properties can serve several use cases, like you said, for maybe for risk analysis. Yeah, you just when you are be part of the project, then you can discuss and say, okay, I like to use this and that extra property for this element for risk analysis. So that's the way I see it. So hopefully,
yeah, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, do we have any further questions today? There are no more questions online at this point in time, but any other thoughts, questions that anyone wants to raise in the room? No?
Any question? Last call. Okay.
Hello, everyone. I come from China. My English is poor. I ask for Dasha. Help me translate. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
我来自这个中国铁路国家那个公管中心，那叫做工程管理中心，长期从事这个铁路建设领域的这个信息化的推进工作。
Yeah, he's from the Engineering Management Center of China Railway. He's responsible for the informatization of the railway engineering.
这几年来，应该是这多年来啊，我们一直在跟随这个 buildingSMART 组织，在这个研究这个 FC 的相关的标准，包括 FC、IDS、BSDD 等等啊。
So in these years, we are following the buildingSMART to study about the FC standard and IDS standard and BSDD.
在我们的站前工程的这些相关标准，我个人认为应该是取得了比较重要的成果，但是在我们的这个铁路的站房，就是station， 还存在着比较大的差距，在我们的工作中间，相关的标准不全，或者叫做没有吧？你是不是翻译一下？
Okay, so I believe we've make great achievements in terms of the FC Rail project, like the telecom, the signaling, as the Liang Tong introduced before. But we still think that there's some missing in the station in the station, and especially in the standards.
所以说这个叫做工作组啊，在成立过后，我们一直也在跟踪这个工作啊，也在这个推进这项工作的进展，也制定了详细的一个推进计划啊。
So we keep eyes on this project, and we determine the the plan for this project, and we will focus on the station standards for. In past is the IFC, now maybe it's the BSDD.
我们希望未来有更多的就是有同类就是有这个意愿的研究人员吧，或者叫能参与到这项工作中间来，跟我们一起来推进这项工作，制定相关的标准我们也承诺在这个研究的成果来用于我们的这个站房的施工过程。
So we are very welcome that everyone to participated in this project to support this project, and we will finish this standard. We will propose the BSD of the station, and we will apply them in our station engineering project.
在研究的过程中间，我们呢也能提供一些工程的实际，就是工程的场所进行一些试点试用。
And we will provide some pilots for this project.
谢谢大家，感谢。
Hello everyone, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks for your comments. Thanks for that. We have no further questions online at the moment. I propose to bring this session to an end. No one seems to disagree. Excellent session. Thank you very much to our presenters from CRBIM, Dashang and Lamtang. And to all railway domain colleagues who've spoken today and contributed to the full discussion that we have had. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining us online. It's 30 minutes from now upstairs. There will be some refreshments. So please do avail yourselves of them. And the next session today, the last session today in this room, is at 3:30, where we will be hearing from the infrastructure domain on their roadmap working groups update. More railway domain sessions in this room tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.
So thank you, everybody. So before you leave, just one last sentence. Please take the survey, help distribute the survey, distribute the QR code. And if you want to have a talk or maybe take a picture, we'll be here for the rest of the 30 minutes, right? Yeah, so we'll be there. Thank you.
Thank you.